Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. It's Des here. Tuesday training. Just finished my City Slickers solidarity session. Of course, coming on slightly later. I get a chance to get that in. But Tuesdays are all about getting involved after the Monday motivation. Hopefully that's put you in the right frame of mind. It's about attacking the week, getting the week up and running. And through Do Running, what we look to do is encourage people, whether it's in person here in Nottingham or virtually, to take part in whatever activity they choose at exactly the same time. It just might give you that little bit of accountability, that little bit of inspiration to get out there and do what you want to do. Of course, whilst we can't meet fully, absolutely fully, things are getting better all the time. This just gives people that extra opportunity to stay within the rules, keep sort of plugging away, keep doing whatever we can, but also for those that are a little bit further afield to join in, to get something from it, to get something from Do Running, and make the absolute most. I've absolutely loved it. This has been the second week we've been back in person. I've got to run with people again, took the pace off. I really needed to. Of course, I'm coming back from injury, but got a 5 mile running, so that's put me in a great frame of mind. Whilst it was tough, it was hot, it was hilly, it's put me in a fantastic frame of mind. I'm really pleased I've done it. And what I've been thinking today, of course, yesterday on Monday Motivation, I mentioned about the Can Do campaign that they're looking to use to address men's health and some of the disproportionate issues that arise. And whilst we focus on everybody, it's all about inclusion. Of course, this is something I can look at from a male perspective. I do it every day anyway, so it's something I want to sort of highlight and make a point of mentioning. And they're using the Can Do campaign, which is the letters spelt out over the 5 days of the week. And Tuesday is all about activity, and of course it is for us, so it ties in really, really nicely. So whilst of course I'm encouraging people to join us, offering that extra accountability, offering that extra motivation, and I'll keep passing on the message about why it's important. I do that week in, week out, day in, day out. It is important, isn't it? It's as important as ever, because it has been a tough time, and what we need to remember is not to leave anybody behind, and the whole thing got me sort of thinking about activity and this session, the solidarity session, and how I can keep encouraging people, and how people have not quite embraced it in the way I'd hoped. It is an in-person session, and it is a solidarity virtual session at the same time, trying to sort of get people to come together, despite barriers, despite things that might stop them. Been there myself. I find, as a man of a certain age, I find all these issues get in the way, and I was thinking how and what we can sort of do to not experience this, to not get stuck, whether you are male, female, it doesn't matter. There's certain things we can sort of train a brain almost to do, so we don't get so bogged down. And basically I come up with 3 ideas of how we can just slightly change our thinking, just adjust the way we approach it, which could sort of do so much to make you feel better about getting involved, whether it is this session or wherever it is, whatever you do, it might just make you understand that you can do it, and that's what it's all about, because we have to get out there and do it. The first one I'm going to talk about is sort of accepting fear and realising that being scared is actually okay. We all get a little bit worried, we all get a little bit concerned at times, but I've said in the past, I read a stat once that 85% of worry is actually unfounded. But even sort of beyond that, the reality is we're allowed to be concerned. It gets us out of a comfort zone, isn't it? And anyone who's watched DOdaily over the past 14 months will understand that I'm always talking about that, because it's not until then that we start growing, that we start sort of understanding ourselves, and that we start developing into sort of a better version of ourselves, And and getting involved. I'll tell you a little story. Once, even after I started the running groups, I was invited to a small gathering for somebody's birthday at a pub in an area I didn't know, with people I didn't know, but somebody from the running club invited me. And even though I'm the one putting out there, I was really, really worried. But somehow I found it in me to turn up, and I had a conversation with someone there, and they said, you have to, Des, because what's going to happen if you don't? Nothing. And that's the reality, isn't it? Nothing will happen. We're talking about a can do. If you let fear get on top of you, it's not a bad feeling to have. It's absolutely not. It's a normal emotion. Embrace it like any other emotions, because when we're sort of in touch with our emotions, we deal with things much better. The second thing I want to talk about is accepting the small wins. And I talk about this one a lot as well. I quite often talk about how we need to take so much from what we're doing. From this session in particular today, whilst I've had to take the pace off, because I can't run as quick as I want to, I've got so much fun working with others. I've got so much fun doing the hills. We're out in the sun. And whilst this might sound a bit wishy-washy, people might go, oh, well, that's not enough for me. So what do you really want from it? Do you want to go out and break world records every time? Do you want to go out and injure yourself? I said to one of the guys at the end of the session today, he probably got most from it. Whilst he's somebody who goes out there and runs quite quick, he also gets injured quite a lot, and he probably thought he was the one getting least from it. But it's important to realise that we can all take different things, not just from this session, but from the day. I got up half an hour early this morning, and people say, well, so what? Why is that such a big thing? Well, it got me off on the right foot, didn't it? It got me off. It was a positive action that led me on to another one. And by the time 6 o'clock and the session comes around, I might have built up all these small wins over the day, and then think, yeah, I will go and do it. If I'd kind of brushed everything off and been miserable about it and not accepting, I'd have probably gone, nah, I can't be bothered. So it's important to remember that we have to keep doing it, don't we? We have to keep taking these small wins on board, to understand how important they can be as time builds. One thing we never get back is time, so we have to make the absolute most of it. We have to keep pushing on, keep smiling, keep being positive. And if we sort of take something from everything we do, the smaller the better in reality. If you can take something from the smallest things, it just shows that you're being positive and prepared to enjoy absolutely everything you do. And the final thing I'm going to mention today, guys, about sort of adjusting your mindset is always putting in that extra 1%. And you might wonder what that is, So basically, when I go out for a run, I try and compete. If I'm going out to do 3 miles, I'll try and do 3.1, which is 5k, and that's one of the reasons I always work to miles, but I actually when I'm running, I work to 5k or 10k, because it's always about putting that extra little bit in. Because in whatever you do, whether it's running or whether it's work, if you put that extra little bit in, it just trains your brain not to stop at the point you was going to stop. It means you're not focused on the point where you feel it's difficult. You're focused on that little bit further. And in terms of the running, if you did go out and run 5k Monday to Friday, say every day, 3 miles, but if you made it a 5k and did it to 3.1 miles and added that up over a year, you'd actually run a marathon over a year just by putting in that extra 1%. And you might say, well, so what? It's not like a real marathon, but it's still going to have the same effect. If you're losing weight, it's probably more consistent, to do it that way. Whilst, of course, you won't get the massive achievement, you'll get the longer term reward, but you've also done that extra mileage. Why would you not want to run an extra 26 miles a year? It's not the end of the world if you don't. But again, it just shows you that your mindset's sort of geared into pushing forward rather than looking back. If you can get that extra 1% from everything you do. It's so important, you know, because you're moving the goalpost almost on purpose, but moving the goalpost. Again, I always say to the guys through the coaching, expect the unexpected, and they're kind of like, oh God, what's he got in store for us now? And the reason I do that is because I want to sort of take the attention away from the end, you know, always looking for that finishing line. Personally, I've done marathons, one of them in particular, you can see the finish line for absolutely miles, and it's horrendous, it's awful, it's so demoralizing as you're doing it. So all I'm saying is keep putting the extra mile in, you know, extra miles, extra 1%, because if you do that, you know, like I say, you'll quickly want to keep pushing that. You'll want to keep hitting new goals, new targets, because you'll always be succeeding at whatever your goal is. And there's just a few things I thought I'd mention today, guys. Like I say, it's about sort of encouraging people to get involved in activity, and this campaign in particular this week is all about activity. There's just three small ways there which I've used over the last few years to readjust my mindset, to get me sort of positive moving forward and doing all the things I do these days. Do you know, and I absolutely embrace everything that's thrown at me. Whilst I can be scared, I can be a bit put off, and sometimes I don't even want to go and do it. Do you know, I know by doing those three things, when I have done it, I'll feel absolutely fantastic. Like I say, feeling great from the run, feeling great from everything today. Hope you took something from the video. If you have, please like, share and subscribe. Do check out on yesterday's for more about the men's health campaign this week, you know, and I'll be back tomorrow with Wednesday workout, just doing it.